Okay, says we're live and there's a couple people on, but I want to wait until 2 o'clock. So another minute and a half to go. So we're going to wait for some others to join. Another minute. Okay, we're ready. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Mary Fry. Welcome to Max Immunity. I'm glad that you can tune in with me today, and I hope that some of you who are not able to watch this live get to watch it later on in the future, because I'm going to share with you today some very important information about how you can maximize your immunity. It's really not about maximizing your immunity, but just really doing some things that would contribute to keeping yourself healthy and well. And we'll talk about some of these first lines of defenses that your body has, and how you can enhance those or improve those. And what, more importantly, are some of the things that actually damage your immune system. So we're going to be sharing all those with you today. I'm glad that you joined in. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I practice here in Warren, Michigan. And I hope that if you've not been to our office before, that this would be a time maybe after the seminar, if you have more questions about chiropractic and how we help people in our office, that you'd be looking forward to giving us a call and asking any questions. There's also questions that you can ask right here online. I can see some of you viewers are letting us know you're there, so thank you for doing that. And also that you can ask any questions on there. So if we have time at the end, we'll do some Q&A as well. I wanted to start, before I got into any of the information, to share with you a little bit about my mom. So this is a picture of my mom, and sharing this picture with you because I love looking at her smile. This is such a great picture I caught of her through the window that I went to visit her in her facility. So she's staying in a nursing facility where she's very safe and very healthy and very well, but I can't go see her. So this is a picture of her on the other side of the glass, and she's so cute. She was smiling and laughing, and she was telling me a story when I was visiting her, and I was just clicking her picture away. So I caught a great shot of her smile. And on the right, you see on my PowerPoint there that it says in quotations, "My daughter, the doctor." And that's how my mother refers to me when she's talking to other people. She says, not my daughter Mary, but my daughter, the doctor. She actually has 2 other daughters that are doctors too. So she kind of groups us all together that way. But anyway, so she's a proud mama, and I'm proud of her, and she looks fantastic, and she's doing great. So I just wanted to share all that with you. Our mission in our office here at First Chiropractic is to help empower people to live longer, healthier, happier lives through chiropractic care and the 5 essentials. And the 5 essentials I'm going to be sharing with you today. But literally, research has shown us that 98% of all sickness and disease is really something that happens from lifestyle choices and not something like genetics. So I'm going to share with you today how those choices that you can make and some of the things that you can change in your healthcare just by making a few simple changes, whether you're adding something to or maybe stopping something that you're doing that would affect your immune system response. Well, with all this COVID news going on out in our world today, and everybody's staying at home in their houses and not being able to be gathered together. Actually, it's kind of strange right now. I'm standing here talking to my computer screen instead of all of you. Normally we do seminars in the office, and the office is full of people, and we have prizes and giveaways and drawings and all kinds of fun stuff. So I miss all of that, and I miss all of you. But with this the COVID thing happening, it's really a perfect time to learn and understand more about your immune system. Because while this virus is here, it is the constant. What is not the constant is all of our host bodies and how we take care of our host bodies. So you have a natural immune system response that we rely on in order to fight infections, whether it's bacterial or a viral infection. Your body knows exactly what it needs to do. And when it encounters something brand new, like the COVID-19 virus that is never maybe encountered before, it has to go through a process of learning how to defend itself against that. So a natural immune system response is built over time. And the more that you've had time to build up your immune system by actually encountering bacteria or viruses that your body has adjusted and adapted to, the healthier you are, the less often you'll get sick. So quite on the contrary of what we've been maybe trying to do with our children by vaccinating a lot of them, or trying to do by taking lots of antibiotics, we're trying to avoid being sick. And being sick is sometimes a natural part of your natural immune system response. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later too. But today is going to be all about really helping you enhance the way that God built your body to be able to fight infection and disease. Now, before we get into all that stuff, I wanted to share with you a little bit of the good news. And I know this slide is kind of tiny and hard to see, but what it is an accumulation of headlines that have happened over a period of time, beginning when we first started to find out about this COVID thing and people were making predictions. And the predictions started out at 2.5 billion people can be infected and killing over 35 million people. And then the next headline went down to 214 million, infecting 1.7 million people. And then it went down to 2.2 million, and, numbers just sounding really grandiose and terrifying. And as it turns out now, we see more recent headlines there towards the bottom that the White House projected that 100 to 240,000 deaths would be occurring in the United States. And then the lowest number that I have on here was from March 26, was Fauci predicting over 100,000 deaths. And I took some time to actually write down some of the numbers that are actually happening today. So in the United States, there were 767,000 cases and 40,000 deaths as of Google search this morning. When we compare that to what's really actually happening, and again, maybe some of this stuff that we're doing is being effective in slowing down the rate of infection or slowing down the occurrences of the virus itself. But in comparing these to flu seasons last year and the year before being flu season 2017 to 18, there were 61,000 deaths in the United States. In year 2018 to 2019, so just last year, there were 34,000 deaths. This year is 40,000 deaths. So you can see that this is acting very much like most other flus and flu seasons that we've had before. Although their predictions were much higher, I'm happy to say they're not as high as they were. And the New England Journal of Medicine goes on to talk about Anthony Fauci is quoted in here saying that the death toll and the rate of infection is going to be very much like many other years that we've had with flu seasons. So that all being said, I'd like to encourage everybody to be empowered by what we can do different in the next flu seasons to make sure that we're prepared or better prepared for what's coming. One other thing to learn or understand about in your body, you have, we've talked about microbiome before, and those are natural healthy bacteria that we have both on our skin, and we have it externally and internally in our blood, as well as in our digestive system. But in recent years, more recently, like in the last 3 to 4 years, they've now discovered and had a conversation about a human virome. And much to our surprises, we find out that scientists say that we have trillions of viruses living inside of us each and every day. So our bodies know how to adapt to viruses and bacteria they're in contact with, and some of them are become a natural part of our human body and a natural part of our human immune system. So it's not so much to be as afraid of as we maybe once thought. No, of course, no one wants to get sick, and nor are we belittling at all any of the deaths that have happened, because it's certainly some of us, knowing those people close, we love people and we love humans, and we want to try to help more people be well and stay well. But the next slide shows the percentages of these 40,000 people that are the death rate percentages in comparison to how much sickness and disease that they have. So you can see, even if you have something where the worst thing is heart disease, the heart disease, you still have an 89.5% chance of living after being infected with the coronavirus, right? So seeing some of these numbers hopefully help some of you know and understand that, is something that your body is equipped to be able to overcome. And not because they found a cure or have some magical thing, but because God built your body to know innately how to build your immune system against these foreign viruses. And if you think about it, it's pretty intelligent the way it's designed, because we first come in contact with these things through our mucous membrane, so in our mouth or in our nose, and then they hit our saliva, which already starts to weaken it. Then it ends up into our digestive system and into stomach acids, where the stomach acids start to weaken it. And so the way that it approaches our body, we become aware, the immune system becomes on alert and starts to call in these killer cells to be able to take care of it and manage it. And not necessarily every time without symptoms, and symptoms are not very much fun, but your body is built and designed to overcome. So not only are there, the good news is not only that there are things that you can do to your health, but here's the second thing to understand, that your immune system and your body is very resilient. And when you take some of the proactive steps that we're going to share with you today, your body can get even stronger. So some of you may be saying, hey, I'm one of those people on this list that has diabetes or has heart disease, but even you can still make some changes that will improve and enhance your immune system in such a way, or I should more say, strengthen your odds of your body being able to fight this infection properly. And don't be discouraged, because sometimes we think that building a healthy immune system is something that takes years to do. And don't get me wrong, the longer you do that, the healthier you are. But some of these changes will make a very positive increase right away in the next week or two. So I hope and encourage you to join us in that, and take some notes today so that you can actually learn some of the things that we're talking about, and maybe implement some of those things. If you walk away today with 1 or 2 new things to go do, then I did my job well. So I want to teach you also a little bit about coughs and fevers and sniffles. While we think of this as something that our body is doing that's sick, and we call that sick during that period of time, it's actually really a very healthy response that your body has to the infection in order to fight it off. First of all, why do we get a fever? Well, we get a fever to fight infection. And your body is so smart, it innately knows exactly how much fever you need to fight the amount of infection that you have present, how much fever that particular infection needs. That's why sometimes you get a fever and it's really high, and sometimes it's just kind of low and moderate. And then for what length of time you need that fever. And then when your body's done fighting the infection, it innately knows to bring the fever right back down to normal. So there's no such thing as your body giving you too high of a fever if you don't interfere with it. The other thing to know is that coughs are actually, while they are a sign of something in our minds, it is really your body trying to defend itself. It's coughing to get the bad stuff out. And you develop sniffles and mucous membranes, and you increase all this sinus stuff, and then sinus drains into your chest. That mucus is actually what binds to and attaches to the infection, so that when you cough that stuff out, the infection leaves your body. So the more symptoms that you have, these are actually, while they feel terrible and nobody's belittling how badly it feels, those are all things that your body does naturally to try to improve itself and to help itself heal. So we want to encourage you, and we'll talk about that later on and towards the end, about some of the things that you can do to help yourself through those without necessarily negatively impacting some of the symptoms that your body has. So where is your immune system? Well, most of it is in your gut. Now, of course, immune system is all over your body, and we have lymphs, and we have immune system in our bloodstream. We also have immune system fighting right away in our skin and our digestive tract. But the majority of it, 70%, lives in your gut. And in your gut is where most of your immune system is not only built, but how strong or impactful it can be is going to be influenced by the foods that you eat. So what you eat absolutely matters, which brings us to our next topic, nutrition. So we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition here because, first of all, what are some of the things that we are eating during this COVID time? And of course, having to make little trips to the grocery store, but I would still encourage you to make trips to the grocery store where you're purchasing things from around the outside edges of the grocery store, because that's where the things are the freshest foods or the frozen foods and less processed food. You'll notice when you go to the grocery store that lots of the foods in the middle are the ones that are running out of, right? They're running out of cereals, or they're running out of, certain boxed or processed food that you may love and enjoy. However, when you buy fresh produce, that's been readily there and replenished very frequently. So I've not had any trouble getting fresh vegetables and fresh food, as well as using some of the frozen foods that they have available there. And the best recommendation we can make for you right now is the advanced plan. Now, the advanced plan is so important because it is what actually helps us be able to, first of all, cut sugar, which is my next slide, right? So you're going to, in the advanced plan, you're going to eat less sugar and watching what the sugar does to your body. Now, we know that sugar is one of the things that decreases your immune system function. And I'll read to you why that happens. Sugar actually binds to protein molecules through a process called glycation. During glycation, harmful compounds known as advanced glycation end products are produced, which hinder the immune system and trigger disease. You might remember, if you've been to any of my classes before, that we talk about how sugar burns dirty. And sugar burning dirty are these glycation products, these glycation end products. I explained it best to my son. He asked me the question just the other day about why is it bad for your immune system to eat sugar, or what is the problem with eating sugar? And sugar in your body burns like wood in a fireplace. It leaves lots of byproducts that are toxic and damaging, and they actually then oxidate cells or damage cells, so that you need antioxidants to repair it, which is why antioxidants are so important, because so many people eat so much sugar that then they need antioxidants to counteract that. So sugar causes your body to burn dirty, and it hinders the immune system and triggers disease to happen. One hit of sugar actually decreases your immune system for up to 2 weeks over a period of time. And it's an amount of sugar at 75 milligrams, which is a number that's as high as drinking like a can of pop or sodas that you have during the day. And those numbers are really high in decreasing your immune response. So you want to avoid sugar as much as you can. The other thing to be aware of is now they're also talking about during this quarantine time that there's something like, remember when you went to college and they talked about the college 15, like you went away to college and you started eating how you wanted to instead of how mom or dad made you eat? Well, they're calling instead of the college 15, now they're calling the quarantine a quarantine 15, because they're predicting that everybody's going to be gaining weight during this time. But that is a choice that you can make, and you can make a difference in changing the way that you eat. The other thing that I noticed that was bad about our way that we're eating during this quarantine time is that alcohol sales say that they're up by 55%. That's the highest they've seen in record ever. And that 55% increase like that is really damaging to it's like everybody's on vacation. Everybody knows they drink more alcohol when they're on vacation, but we're on like this indefinite vacation. So be very careful with that, because alcohol will also has so much sugar in it, and it also weakens your immune system. So what do we ask you to do instead is replace sugar with stevia and make other food choices out of real food. Some fresh strawberries or some fresh fruit are really some best ways of getting some of that sugar fix that you might be looking for. I also enjoy a cup of tea sometimes at night with a few drops of stevia in it, and that gives me that feeling like I've had some dessert of some kind too. So the advanced plan that we talked about, there are some things I want to show you in the advanced plan that I'd like to encourage you to eat. It's on this slide right here. Is to replace all of your processed snacks with whole foods, like we just talked about. Limit the amount of grains that you're eating, and if you must eat grain, make it whole grains, not instant oats or brown or instant white rice, but long cooking brown rice or oats. And again, I would discourage you from doing things like eating cereal and grain for every single meal. Many of you could notice in all your meal plannings that you could cut, grain out of 2 or 3 of those and still end up with some grains during the day. On the advanced plan, we advise people who need to either reverse a disease process or lower weight in their body that they should go on no grain. And people live, I live on no grain all the time. And it's something that you can do and you can achieve. Where do you get your carbohydrates? They come in your fruits and vegetables. And so really grain is not a necessity, and you will get some of those things that you need out of the other things. The advanced plan also helps you detoxify, and it is designed to reduce inflammation, restore cell membrane, so it makes your cells healthier. It aids in detoxification, and it regulates hormone function. It's also really important during this time to eat more healthy fats. A lot of times we will avoid fats, or we eat damaged fats. And I would advise you during the advanced plan and during this COVID time to stop eating unhealthy damaged fats like canola oil or any rancid oils, deep fried oils that, if a product comes like a potato chip, those type of oils in there, those are damaged oils. Healthy oils are avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. I eat fried foods, but I fry them in coconut oil because coconut oil sustains in high temperatures. And so that's good for you as well. It's good to increase your oils. And if you're not getting enough healthy oils in your diet, it's a good idea to supplement with the Optum Omegas. And here at Max Living and at First Chiropractic, we have on our website that we'll give you access to later on, the store with all the supplements in it. And Optimum Omegas have omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9 all balanced in them. And those are all really important for enhancing and improving your immune system function, or for a better immune system response. The next slide is about vitamin C. Now, a lot of times we think about vitamin C, we think about citrus fruits. And some of you even come in the office and say, oh, Doc, I got my vitamin C today because I drank my orange juice this morning. Well, I want you to look closely and notice that if you see that vitamin C in a glass of orange juice, there's only 48 milligrams of vitamin C in 1 glass of orange juice. And if you look up close at this slide on here, we're making recommendations that vitamin C has been known in research to reduce the pneumonia and the incidence of pneumonia. And so COVID is one of those things that attacks your lungs. And so vitamin C would be really important right now for you. And we're recommending 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day. So how many glasses of orange juice would that be? Right? Somewhere like 70 glasses of orange juice, which would be way too much sugar. So make sure you don't get your orange juice or for your vitamin C out of your orange juice, but rather supplement it. And we recommend you supplement it with minimum 2,000 milligrams per day. If you do get sick or you become ill and you want to increase that, go to 4,000 per day. And it's recommended to split it up throughout the day, so morning and night like that. Or you can split it up 3 times a day if you'd like. The next thing that I do, so a lot of times because I'm in the office and people are asking me questions or texting me, you know, what do I do to keep my immune system healthy? Or if you've already, you know, have a fever or some kind of signs or symptoms, you know, what can you do? Oregano oil is one of the things that my family is taking right now, as well as the vitamin C that I just told you about, and the omegas that I also told you about. Oregano oil blend. Oregano oil is a known antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal, and it even knows how to kill cancer cells. So oregano oil is something not only important to take right now, but it would be a good idea to make it part of your normal regimen. I take 2 of those every day, and that right now, and it is something maybe on a normal basis or a normal situation, I would take 1 a day. But the oregano oil is very good and good for you, and it helps really lessen some of those unwanted bacteria and viruses that we may come in contact with. Daily Defense is another thing that we're taking right now as well, and Daily Defense has turmeric in it. Then the turmeric studies have been shown for their ability to improve cardiovascular function. It reduces inflammation, which is also really important for your immune system. It supports musculoskeletal health and helps maintain a healthy, strong immune system. The turmeric itself has antioxidants in it, which remember I said earlier, antioxidants are important for cleaning up some of the glycation side effects. And superoxide dismutase also has gooseberry in it. And these are all things that reduce oxidative stress levels on your cells in your body. So antioxidants that are really good for improving your health. Glutathione is another word that you guys maybe have heard me talk about before. And glutathione is one of the things that we want to have an increase of, but you can't just take glutathione. You have to have precursors to glutathione. And Daily Defense has N-acetyl-L-cysteine in it, which acts in your body as a supporter in increasing your glutathione production. So this helps to reduce some of the negative effects of toxins that you come in contact with, as well as reducing the negative effects of medication, stress, and trauma. So Daily Defense, again, really good one to take on a regular basis, but really important in this time during this COVID response. How about the importance of sunshine? Now, it's a really good idea. I encourage you guys to get outside. And we're going to talk a little bit about exercise and what we're doing when we are getting outside and getting some sunshine. But I want to tell you, those of you that are with me in Michigan need to be on vitamin D3. As a matter of fact, I'm recommending those that know that their vitamin D levels are not maybe as up to par as they'd like them to be, are taking a double dosage during this time. So we're taking 10,000 IUs a day. Normally we recommend 5,000 on a regular basis. But in order to get the normal amount that you need out of the sunshine outside, first of all, you got to find the sun, which in Michigan is really difficult to do. Second of all, you have to expose over 60% of your skin to the sun for over half an hour. And so none of us in Michigan can do that without freezing to death. So it's really important that you take your vitamin D3. This is by far the most important vitamin and also the most cost-effective vitamin that I can recommend that anybody take. It's really important during cold and flu season, especially in Michigan, but I take it on a regular basis. Research has shown that the right levels of vitamin D in your body actually have been also shown to fight cancer. So again, another one of those things that you should take on a regular basis. And you just don't get it enough here in Michigan. And then if you live in a state where you do get it more so, what do we do when we go outside? We try to hide from the sun, right? We're trying to block our skin from sunburns and things like that. So it's really important to keep taking your vitamin D3. How about elderberry? There's been a little talk about elderberry in the news here and there, and I wanted to comment on it today. My family and I are taking elderberry right now. And you can notice if you go to the health food store, that's kind of hard to find because lots of people are taking elderberry right now. I wanted to share with you why, because we've not really talked about elderberry before, but They're more recently gaining a lot of popularity for very good reasons. They've been around for a very long time, and they've been used throughout history to treat infection. Elderberries have a powerhouse of nutrients in them, making them very critical for immune system function. One study even found that patients who used elderberry syrup found relief from flu symptoms 4 days faster than those compared to a placebo. So what is that saying? Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that all these things are a cure-all, be-all, that you're not going to get sick. We have to actually maybe even be okay with the fact that we might have some symptoms. And while we have symptoms, our body's building up an immunity and designing a stronger immune system. As a matter of fact, in our family, when we have symptoms of being ill or under the weather, we don't say we're sick. We say, I'm expressing negative symptoms right now, right? Because it's still a natural thing that your body does. And it's actually healthy. What do you suppose would happen if you had COVID present in your body and you didn't get a fever or a stuffy nose, your body didn't fight it off? That would be not healthy, right? That would be sick. It's actually a healthy response that your body does to strengthen your immune system. And whatever we can do to shorten the period of time that it takes for your body to fight that off, the better. And maybe even some of you will be strong enough to not even have a symptom and still be able to create immunity to it. It's pretty awesome the way God made our body, isn't it? All right, so on from elderberry, we're going to talk about exercise. Now, it's really important to get out and get exercise right now. Because first of all, you don't want to be a couch potato. Don't sit around at home and not get out and move around. And if you can't get out of the house right now, even move around. As a matter of fact, I heard the chief of police in Detroit on the news the other day. Some of you may have caught this, but I was pretty inspired by his little recorded outtake that they showed on the news, because they showed him, number one, saying you got to be a fighter. And you got to be strong, and you're going to make it through this, right? So he was being encouraging from his home after he had fought through COVID. The other thing he was encouraging people about is to move. He said, even when you're sick, you can't just lay in bed and do nothing. Get up and move, even just around your house, because that moving around helps circulate your immune system, circulate blood. It gets things flowing properly. So exercise is really important right now. And the more you exercise, your lungs, your body, your muscles, your blood flow. So here's some points that we made about exercise. It helps to reduce the risk of illness by flushing bacteria out, right? So when you cycle through and sweat, you flush out bacteria. You raise body temperature, which is another thing that helps fight infection, and it causes you to reduce stress, right? It reduces cortisol levels in your body. And cortisol levels in your body go up the more stressed you are. So exercising brings them back down. So it's really important to do. Some research also shows that even walking just a little bit may increase your white blood cell production. So again, whether you go out for a walk and catch some fresh air and maybe even relax a little bit while you're walking and notice that all the birds are singing and that things are still okay out there. It helps you also get away from your television. So I will encourage you to stay away from that as well. But any type of exercise you're going to do. So we encourage people to do a max T3 cycle. If you haven't seen us do one of those, you can look through our YouTube channel videos and see some of us doing examples of how to do a max T3 workout. But they're high output or high impact exercises that are short durations but high output. So you can see that we do these burst trainings of 20 seconds on and 20 seconds of rest. If you can't do burst training, then go for a walk. If you can go for a walk with a couple of, pound weights in your hands or something like that, just to get your heart pumping, maybe while you're walking, just to pump your hands over your head, that'll get your blood flowing better and your heart rate higher. I even encourage some people sometimes that they can't get any exercise and they don't have weights or dumbbells or that kind of stuff, to just do walking lunges. You could do walking lunges in your house, and that movement of your biggest muscle in your body, which are your legs, will increase circulation and increase your heart rate, which then causes your body to do all kinds of healthy benefits after a workout. So after a good, strong workout where your heart rate goes up nice and high, it does cause your body to recover better and raises your immune system function. And research has shown us that over time as well. The next slide I'm going to show you, there it is. We're going to talk about stress and the immune system. So stress, we've mentioned a couple times already. Exercise is going to help reduce your stress. Stop focusing on the television and don't watch the news. That'll help reduce your stress. Find something that you enjoy to do and relaxing. Maybe it's a puzzle, and maybe you've never done a puzzle before because you never had time before to do a puzzle. Maybe it's a book that you've been wanting to get to. There's lots of activities that sometimes you just make a list that you thought, someday when I have extra time, I'm going to get to these things, and try to figure out what those things are that you can do in your house to actually, get your mind working and thinking about something else. I think it's also really important to think about hope in the future. So looking forward into the future and the time when we get to go outside, or this COVID thing is all over with and things can go back to normal again. Not that we know that we're going to have a different normal. It might be a new normal, right? But let's hope and pray that it's an exciting new normal. I have talked many times before about needing a revolution in healthcare. And this may be, sometimes revolutions come with dramatic crashes and things before they take off, right? So this might be that time when everybody starts to realize that we have to take control and responsibility for our health back to ourselves, right? So focus on something positive and something moving that will help relax you. Because stress shuts down your immune system. Relaxing things and lowering cortisol will actually improve your immune system. So what we see is, how stress can affect and reactivate. Actually, if you even had like a latent infection that when you're stressed out, the infection shows back up again. Like some people know, like cold sores or like that, right? And maybe most of the time you don't ever have it show up, but then it shows up when you're under stress. So science and research have shown us that we want to do what we can to reduce our stress so that we will not decrease our immune system function. Another thing you want to do is minimize your toxins. Again, this is a time right now when people feel a little bit pulled towards wanting to eat and do some activities that maybe are not so good for us. Like I talked about earlier, the 55% increase in alcohol sales in our country. That's a toxin, right? And then that weakens your immune system. So you got to really think about what you're putting in your body and maybe adding some things that are healthier for it and not toxic for it. Tobacco is another one. And certainly if you smoke, that would be something to stop because, again, smoking is one of the things that damages your lungs more, makes you more susceptible to pneumonia type infections like this. Preservatives are toxins. So when we eat processed food that has preservatives in it, those boxes of food that live in the center aisles or that you just have to pour a little water on and pop it in your microwave, those all have preservatives in them. So avoid eating foods with extra preservatives in them and to minimize toxicity. And medications also have toxins in it. That doesn't mean go home and get rid of all your medications, but it does mean to think about and discern, are there ways that you can change some of your lifestyle habits that you would be able to maybe even need less medication in your life so that you can minimize toxicity. Another thing that's a toxin that we get exposed to are plastics and even like the microwave. So I encourage you right now, while we're trying to learn to eat healthy, try to also avoid putting foods in the microwave. Okay, so we're going to talk about sleep. Sleep is a very important part of improving your immune system function. And the opposite is also true. Lack of sleep depletes your immunity. When you get a good night rest, your body releases and increases the production of cytokines. Cytokines in the body happen to release when you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. They're small proteins that help regulate inflammation and immunity and infection in your body. So the more cytokines you have in your system, it promotes a more healthy response to these changes in your body. And of course, the opposite is true. Sleep deprivation lowers cytokines. So it's important to get enough rest at night. It also puts your body into something called rest and digest, which I'm going to show you a little bit on the next slide, which shows what decreasing your levels of stresses do for you, and shows that fight or flight side, which is your sympathetic nervous system that gets stimulated, and that's the stressful side. And then the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, and that's the relaxation side. So when we compare these two things, you can see that stress and that fight or flight mode increases your heart rate, raises your blood pressure, It diverts blood flow to your working muscles, which means you get less in your in your actual digestive system, and it goes out more to your musculoskeletal part of your body. It releases more sugars and fats into the bloodstream. So the more stressed you get, if you're diabetic, that also increases more sugar in your bloodstream, right? And so your body hopefully handles sugar well, but you need to also reduce your stress even if you're not diabetic, because sugars are bad in your for your immune system, releasing that into your blood as well. Fight or flight mode or stress mode inhibits digestion, so you're not absorbing your vitamins in your food properly. It also reduces your appetite, dilates your pupils, and this by definition is subluxation. When you have a subluxation, you've heard me define this word before, but those of you who haven't, luxation means light. So subluxation is less light. And less light means less nerve function. And when your nervous system is depleted by either something interfering with it or pressing on it or stressing your nervous system out, that reduction of nervous system actually puts you more in a fight or flight mode. It makes your body respond with all those things I just listed off, like there's a tiger in the room, right? Or like you just got done watching CNN and scaring yourself to death watching too much of the news, right? That tiger in the room puts you into that fight or flight mode. On the other side, rest and digest is where we can calm down. We're lowering cortisol levels, which, by the way, I talked about cortisol levels a couple times already, which I already said inhibits your immune system function. It also makes you gain weight around your midsection. So the more stress, the more cortisol levels you have, the more weight gain in your midsection of your body. So rest and digest helps you not only absorb vitamins and nutrients better, it slows down your heart rate, it decreases your blood pressure, allows your blood vessels to dilate so they function better to all the cells in your body. It promotes energy storage and stimulates digestion, so if your body's absorbing food properly. It increases your appetite, constricts your pupils, allows you to focus and relax better. And all of these things are what happen in your body when you have a chiropractic adjustment. So you can see how important it is to your immune system strength and to your health and to your resistance of any kind of sickness and disease that you have regular chiropractic adjustments. As a matter of fact, the benefits of chiropractic adjustments were studied in many case studies that showed that people that got regular chiropractic care over a period of time had actually healthier immune systems. They had lower cortisol levels, and they reflected a higher immune system capacity. And this then was expected to reduce the incidence of severe pathogenic invasions of their airways. Another study showed on the next slide, sorry, too many slides. On the next slide, that chiropractic patients that were studied in maintenance or wellness care adjustments for 5 years or more have been found to have a 200% greater immune system capacity than those people who had not ever received any chiropractic care at all. Right? So those of you who've had chiropractic care, but maybe it's been a long time since you've been under chiropractic care, a regular wellness adjustment, even once a month, is better for you over a long period of time than just getting a few adjustments whenever you hurt. Right? So it's really important to stay active with your chiropractic care, and that enhances your immune system function, and studies have shown that over time. Now, there's one other thing that I want to talk about that a lot of people do wrong when they do become expressing negative symptoms in their body, when their body is fighting infection of some kind and they're having symptoms, they tend to do the opposite. What we were learned or taught growing up, I wasn't taught this when I was growing up. My mother taught us that when you had a fever, you didn't take anything to lower your fever. But in today's world, many people are being told to take medication to lower their fever. Well, France was talking about how ibuprofen may aggravate the coronavirus in the headline that they talked about. But what I want to talk about that is not just ibuprofen itself, but fever is a part of your natural immune system response. It's how your body fights and kills pathogens. So treating a fever can actually prolong how long it takes for your body to fight infection, and it exacerbates illness. So a lot of the things that you want to do that you maybe learned growing up are things that you want to maybe take a second look at and realize that it is really not a good idea to medicate fevers or lower fevers, rather to watch the fever. And when we do start to have maybe fevers that get pretty high, to use like cold washcloths or get in a lukewarm bath to just temper the fever a little bit, but not allow it to go completely away. As a matter of fact, the more we reduce the fever completely, then now the virus has more ability to multiply, or bacteria, depending on what kind of infection you have, but a virus will multiply more with a lowered fever. So you lower the fever, now you have a bigger infection. So what do you think happens when the fever reducing medication wears off? And that's right, you get more fever, and may sometimes an even higher fever. As a matter of fact, what we know about fever is that this is the way that we actually produce spike fevers in the body. Excuse me, I talked too much and didn't drink enough water. Okay, so while they're noticing that this COVID does not respond very well to ibuprofen, I also want to, on a second note, point out that it is a better idea to actually let your fever burn. What does that mean? That means that you may have to sit there and suffer with a headache for a day or two, but if you suffer through the fever and let it burn out the infection, you'll get over it faster and you won't prolong the symptoms of the infection. Okay, and then the other thing that I want to talk a little bit about is, excuse me, there hasn't been much said yet, except for a lot of people talking about a vaccine, and I don't know what's to come with that conversation. And I'm not here to tell you that I know what's to come with that conversation, but I wanted to share with you this study that I was able to find on Google that you could actually go look this study up too and read it yourself. But what they saw was that the coronavirus risk increased in a military study, that the flu vaccine actually increased it by 36%. This is pretty interesting news article, and I really encourage you to go look at it and interpret it for yourself. I can't tell you what to do, but I know for myself and for my family, vaccinations are something that we avoid. We choose natural vaccine or natural immunity, excuse me. And the way you naturally get an infection and then your body has a chance to fight it off rather than putting something directly into your bloodstream. But this study goes on to say that while influenza vaccinations offers protection against influenza, natural influenza infection may reduce the risk of non-influenza respiratory viruses by providing temporary, not specific immunity against these viruses. On the other hand, recently published studies have described the phenomenon of vaccine-associated viruses interference, that is, vaccinated individuals may be at risk for other respiratory viruses because they do not receive the non-specific immunity associated with a natural infection. So what this article is going on to say is that a natural infection and your natural immunity response is more effective and lasts longer, right? God knew what he was doing when he built our immune system. He made it exactly perfect. And if you let your body do what it needs to do naturally to fight infection, you're going to be stronger for it on the inside. So what do I want to do is at this point want to encourage you, if you do have any questions, you can pop them in there on the bottom. We just have a couple of minutes that maybe we can answer some questions for you. But I want to encourage you to stay connected. And staying connected, watching some of our videos, watching on Facebook. We post some things pretty regularly, 2-3 times a week. Lauren is trying to get me to do that more so maybe we will. I share recipes on there as well as exercises that we do. So all the 5 essentials that we talked about today, we kind of encourage you through those things. Also, if you can visit our website address, ready? We're going to write it down. It's the number 1 STCHIRO. That says First Chiro, then drmary.com. So firstchirodrmary.com. And visit our website for lots of recipes. You can go to Healthy Recipes on there. There's hundreds of different organic and grainless and sugarless recipes, even desserts that are sugar-free and grain-free. Also, you can go and be connected by looking at some of our workout videos, as well as there are shopping lists that you can go download from our website. Also on our website, you can get more information about a chiropractic adjustment if you've never had one before. You can certainly message us on Facebook and we'll answer any questions that you have. So we want you to stay connected and use our resources. We're here to help you. We're also here because we are an essential practice. So we are available for you for care, and we do have specific hours that are available. So do what you can to support those 5 essentials and just continue to make changes. Even if they're little baby steps, take baby steps 1 step at a time, because even something that you do different now for, changing nutrition or changing your exercise program just for a couple weeks will make a big difference in your immune system health later on. Right? So I notice at the bottom of this, if you guys can see on the chat on the side that Lorena has put a link on there for you. That link you can click on. And if you mention that you saw us on the Max Immunity class, there's a promotion discount for the vitamins right now. So you will go and buy them online and have them shipped directly to your home, but the discount's available for you right there online. So if you go to our website, like I showed you before, and you click on the store, or you can use the link that Lorena put on the bottom of this page. Hopefully you can find it that way. If you can't and you have questions, give us a call. Our phone number is 586-573-6622. We're here to help. I don't see any questions coming across. I see lots of people saying thanks, and I'm glad that you were on with us. So I think without further ado, I'm going to sign off. And again, if you want to post any questions on the bottom of this, we'll be happy to answer those for you, or send us a message. Okay? Thanks for joining us today. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon in the office. Have a blessed and awesome day.